this even open? The fuck is going on here? But, all right. Got the YouTube going. Shit.
Or the pace of the song. I don't know why. It's just
1/3 of all internet traffic is fake. And all of this is coming from Chinese phone farms. So the people that you're arguing online with about different things such as politics and city rules, well, it's all fake. And it's probably just a robot. These phone
Story about a woman who walked into a bridal shop one day, told the sales clerk that she was looking for a wedding gown for her 4th wedding. Well, the saleswoman asked, just exactly what type of dress are you looking for? A long, flowing white dress with a veil, she responded with assurance. Not totally convinced, but afraid to offend the woman, the sales lady said, you know, dresses of that nature are usually more appropriate for brides who are being married for the first time, for those a bit more innocent, if you know what I mean. Well, the lady retorted and put her hand on her hip. I do know what you mean, and I can assure you I'm as innocent as the rest of them. Despite all my marriage, I remain as innocent as any first-time bride. And you see, my first husband was a dear, sweet man. It was a terrible tragedy, actually. All the excitement of the wedding was simply too much for him, and he died as we checked into the hotel on our wedding night. I'm sorry to hear that, said the clerk, but what about the others? Well, my second husband and I got into a terrible fight in the limousine on the way to our wedding reception. We haven't spoken since and got the marriage quickly annulled. What about your third husband? Asked the store clerk. Well, the woman replied, he was a Democrat. And every night, for 4 years, he just sat on the edge of the bed and told me how good it was going to be. Sorry, I just couldn't resist telling you. It's a story about a...
Games and thoughts are no longer safe. Watch this.
the image of a giraffe that the computer
Boy Scouts are selling their $59 million art collection to compensate the survivors who were abused by troop leaders and volunteers. The Boy Scouts have been settling abuse lawsuits for years now. In 2020, they declared bankruptcy. In 2023, they settled the bankruptcy, and they will be paying over $2.4 billion. And this is where the art comes in. One way they are getting this money is selling a lot of their art collection. They have 312 pieces of art that they will be selling, valued at $59 million. The former bankruptcy judge on this case has said this about the sale. The survivors have waited decades to be heard and acknowledged. The sale of these works will aid us in providing a measure of justice to them. Buyers should be proud that they will be contributing to rebuilding lives and helping to right past wrongs. Also to note, currently the Boy Scouts are still referred to as the Boy Scouts. Come February, they will be known as Scouting America. Scouts are selling their $59
Doors open this Friday, so come on down to the barbecuer. Oh, shit! Doors open this Friday.
Oh boy, so we got our live streams going. I gotta see. I want to see if this commission is good enough for me to start detailing. And if not, I'll just work on some of my own stuff and we'll try to get to that commission in the next day or so. I actually just did the underpainting on Saturday, so it's only been sitting for a day. It only had a whole 24 hours to sit, so we'll see what it looks like on this side. of the morning. It might surprise us and actually be good enough to paint on. You never know. You never know. Might be surprised. But first, before I do anything, I gotta meditate real quick. Get my meditation. Yo, what's good?
Presidential assassinations on replay, no time to delay. Let's go on relay, analyze the facts. Nothing he say, she say, and listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay, no time to delay. Let's go on relay, analyze the facts. Nothing he say, she say, and listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Central banks and global corporations run a nation. Military complex spread like a presidential assassinations on replay, no time to delay. In this global relay, analyze the facts, not that he say, she say, and listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay, no time to delay. In this global relay. Presidential assassinations on replay, no time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say, and listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay, no time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say, and listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Central banks and global corporations run the nation. Military complex spread like a contagion. With the wars they're waging, Gaza stripping flames, and we know just who to blame, cause it probably was the same mastermind who did that thing with the Nord Stream pipeline. Ultimate deception, playing it like some white lies. Propaganda keeps the masses watching all the news with politicians in suits and preachers in the pulpit. It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. The grand chessboard, the creature from Jekyll Island, Epstein, Noriega, CIA co-pilot, heavily redacted files and show trials for disgrace. Chose Trump, Assange, and put it on display. Brainwashing tactics got the hate misplaced. And this is the new mixtape from the deep state. Assassinations on replay, no time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say, and listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Burton, Rapey, and JBL, Lucky Martin, no big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing cause their stocks make the biggest profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Sutro and Tim Hoffman. Spokes by the door and skeletons in the closet. We're tired of corruption and all the silly nonsense. We need more discussion and less of the conflicts. But
Man,
dollars
good,
and
yo.
money is the power. They send us to
How you
war
doing
while
this
they
morning, bro?
hide and they cower. And they're ivory towers. These are the last hours. It's time to make a change before they can devour. Everything's sacred, replace it with more hatred. Who will you blame if you ain't helped fight to change it? They wanna kill your joy, your freedom, and
How you doing this morning? How you doing? Motherfucking colossal jumped in for a second. Oh boy. I only got one more roll that I can do on this song today. I actually like this one. I might use this one as the format for the next one, but I do like that one. That's like the lyrics on here going hard.
and you listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Halliburton, Rapey, and JPL, Lockheed Martin. No big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing because they start to make the biggest profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Sutchero and Tim Osmond. Spooks by the door and skeletons in the closet. Halliburton, Rapey, and JPL, Lockheed Martin. No big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing because it starts to make the big profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Sutchero and Tim Osmond. Spooks by the door and skeletons in the closet. It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. Presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Central banks and global corporations run the nation. Military complex spread like a contagion. With the wars they're waging, Gaza stripping flames, and we know just who to blame, cause it probably was the same mastermind who did that thing with the Nord Stream pipeline. Ultimate deception, playing it like some white lies. Propaganda keeps the masses watching all the news with politicians in suits and preachers in the pulpit. It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. The grand chessboard, the creature from Jekyll Island, Epstein, Noriega, CIA, co-pilot, heavily redacted files and show trials for disgrace. Jones, Trump, Assange, and put it on display. Brainwashing tactics got the hate misplaced. And this is the new mixtape from the deep state. Assassinations on replay, no time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Halliburton, Rapey, and JPL, Lockheed Martin. No big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing because they start to make the biggest profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Sutchero and Tim Osmond. Spooks by the door and skeletons in the closet. We're tired of corruption and all the silly nonsense. We need more discussion and less open conflicts. But that makes the dollars and money is the power. They send us to war while they hide and they cower. In real life towers, these are the last hours. It's time to make a change before they can devour. Everything's sacred, replace it with more hatred. Who will you blame if you ain't helped fight the changing? They wanna kill your joy, your freedom, and faith. And you listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Halliburton, Rapey, and JPL, Lockheed Martin. No big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing because they start to make the biggest profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Sutchero and Tim Osmond. Spooks by the door and skeletons in the closet. Halliburton, Rapey, and JPL, Lockheed Martin. No big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing because it starts to make the biggest profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Sutchero and Tim Osmond. Spooks by the door and skeletons in the closet. It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracy, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. Assassinations on replay, no time to delay. In this global relay, analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay, no time to delay. In this global relay, analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Banks and global corporations run the nation. Military complex spread like a contagion. With the wars they waging, Gaza stripping flames. And we know just who to blame, cause it probably was the same mastermind who did a thing with the Nord Stream pipeline. Ultimate deception, playing it like some white lies. Propaganda The masses watching all the news with politicians in suits and preachers in the pulpit. It's all bullshit, smoking illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate illusions to keep us in confusion. The grand chess.
Yo, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? How you doing? How you doing? Claire, what's up? What's up? We in here working on a commission. I think I actually did this underpainting Saturday. I did this on Saturday, so now I'm gonna see if it's dry enough for me to start adding some details to it. I used my other easel when I did this, just because it's a smaller canvas, so I really don't need this big easel, but I'll try it this morning if we can get this situated on here. We can get some painting done. Yo, what's good? What's good? Yo, appreciate it. Appreciate it. YouTube, good morning. How y'all doing? Everybody. Old Mizu. You already know what time it is, bro. We're in the studio chilling. Still trying to make some different versions of this last song that I wrote. But I only have enough credits to make it one more time today. I can't find the other. Is this the one that I kind of like? Okay, that's the one. It's more rock than I want it to be, but I do like the way that the lyrics came out. I like the way that the flow came out because it's saying it the way that I wanted to say it. So I'm gonna put all right. So this will be the last time I can roll this today. And there was one other part. Well, actually, in the last iteration of the song, it actually did it pretty good. But I still want to edit this one part. All right. I think that's all I can do with it. And if I don't like these, I'll just have to wait until tomorrow to do it some more. Because as soon as I woke up, I was already thinking about this shit. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I gotta make new music. And then I did it a few times, and every one I made this morning, I did not like any of them. So it was just like, oh well. But the lyrics are pretty good. I really think the lyrics are fairly strong. Is the reason why I want to like get a really decent version of it so I can share it with people. The few good versions that I've gotten so far, I already shared it with a few people. But I do want like to try to make the ultimate version of the song. So there is like I say, even the ones that I've shared so far, they're pretty good. Like I said, I didn't mind sharing it with people to get some feedback from friends who I know won't be too critical of it. You know, I'm over here trying to meditate right now. That's what I'm doing. Just so Instagram can see. YouTube, y'all already know what I'm doing. I'm about to get your picking me. Alright, hold on. I gotta take a break real quick. I'll be right back, guys. Let me So I'm not gonna play the song that the newest one. I'm gonna play this one. Yeah, give me 2 seconds.
Presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Central banks and global corporations run the nation. Military complex spread like a contagion. With the wars they're waging, Gaza stripping flames, and we know just who to blame, cause it probably was the same mastermind who did that thing with the Nord Stream pipeline. Ultimate deception, playing it like some white lies. Propaganda keeps the masses watching all the news with politicians in suits and preachers in the pulpit. It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. The grand chessboard, the creature from Jekyll Island, Epstein, Noriega, CIA co-pilot, heavily redacted files and show trials for disgrace. Chose Trump, Assange, and put it on display. Brainwashing tactics got the hate misplaced. And this is the new mixtape from the deep state. Assassinations on replay, no time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Burton, Ricky and JBL, Lockheed Martin. No big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing cause their stocks make the biggest profits. And I know.
Alright, so yo, what up? Airbrushing. I wish we can all read the lyrics along with this at the same time that the song is playing. But so I'll read the lyrics real quick before we listen to the newer versions. The newer versions already scare me. I don't even know if these are gonna be good. I'll probably have to delete them. So the chorus or the hook goes, presidential assassinations on replay. Just absorb all the words and see if you can visualize it. Have you ever watched the Zapruder film? Or watched that movie JFK with the magic bullet? And how many times they sat there and analyzed that assassination film over and over and over and over and over on replay. You know what I'm saying? Every other presidential assassination, how many times did we watch Trump assassination attempt over and over? You know what? Damn, we watched that shit a few times that first week. Then after that, nobody gonna talk about that shit no more. They try to brush that shit under the rug like it wasn't a big deal. Like that shit wasn't something super fucking major. I find that weird. You know? So that's the first fucking bar that you hear in the song from the chorus is presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. This track got newer lyrics? Yes, it does. Yes, sir. Damn, I wish I can pull up two screens at the same time. On this painting, we about to get started. I'm about to throw some colors on the palette. So, analyze the facts, not the he say, she say, and listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay, no time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say, and listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Verse 1 goes, central banks and global corporations run the nation. Military complex spread like a contagion. With the wars they waging, Gaza Strip in flames, and we know just who to blame, cause it probably was the same mastermind who did that thing with the Nord Stream pipeline. Ultimate deception, playing it like some white lies. Propaganda keeps the masses watching all the news with politicians in suits and preachers in the pulpit. It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. The grand chessboard, the creature from Jekyll Island, Epstein, Noriega, CIA co-pilot, heavily redacted files and show trials for disgrace. Jones, Trump, Assange, and put it on display. Brainwashing tactics got the hate misplaced, and this is the new mixtape from the deep state. So that first verse is pretty good. All right, my bad. Yo, I went to the gym this morning, but since it's I don't have work today. All right, so on work days I go to the gym before work, like for something in the morning, and I powered through like really quick workouts in like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. I try to be in the gym less than an hour. But on days like this, when I don't have to rush through my fucking workout, I can just take my time, you know? So I was at the gym for like an hour or something this morning. But in that time, I drank like 3 bottles of fucking water. Then I done drank a bottle of water since I've been back to the house. I'm pissing like a bitch right now. Jesus Christ. All right. So the first verse feels pretty strong. I try to get as many things in each verse as possible, and then talk about different things in each verse. Central banks, global corporations, military complex, Gaza Strip, Nord Stream pipeline. I say propaganda. Bullshit Illusions. The Grand Chessboard is a book written by Zbigniew Brzezinski. The Creature from Jekyll Island is a book that talks about the creation of the Federal Reserve. Then I mentioned Epstein and Noriega and the CIA connections in those. Then I mentioned show trials for Alex Jones, Donald Trump, Julian Assange. And then again, I say the phrase deep state at the end of the verse. So that verse has a lot in it. Hey, good morning. The second verse goes Halliburton, Raytheon, JPL, Lockheed Martin, no bid contracts given to the biggest monsters. Yo, Sketch, good morning, my man. How you doing? I'm going over these lyrics for this last song that I wrote because I just rewrote it to make new versions of it. I haven't listened to two of them yet, but one of them sounds like a more rock kind of style. It sounds really good though. But just trying to like really just break down the lyrics. Congress keeps investing because their stocks make the biggest profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Soetoro and Tim Osmond. Now those two names, I really wanted to put those two names in there. I tried to squeeze them into the first verse, but it didn't like fit right. But if you know who Barry Soetoro is, it's some weird stuff, yo. So Barack Obama went by a different name for a long time. His name was Barry Soetoro. Why did he change his name when he, whatever. But that shit always made me think something funny about that motherfucker, yo. Why you got an alias? Why you need an alias? And then, if you know who Tim Osmond is, it's another fucking alias, bro. Tim Osmond is motherfucking Osama bin Laden. Look the names up. I'm not making this shit up, man. I'm just putting this shit in the rhymes, bro. So, Congress keeps investing because their stocks make the biggest profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Soetoro and Tim Osmond. Spooks by the door and skeletons in the closet. We're tired of corruption and all the silly nonsense. We need more discussions and less of the conflicts. But that makes the dollars, and money is the power. They send us to war while they hide and they cower in their ivory towers. These are the last hours. It's time to make a change before they can devour everything sacred. Replace it with more hatred. And who will you blame if you ain't helped fight to change it? They want to kill your joy, your freedom, and your faith. And you're listening to the new mixtape from the Deep State. So, like I said, it took me a minute to get all of this together, because when I write rhymes like this, I really want them to be impactful and have a lot of information in it. And there's other artists that can do this extremely well. Lupe Fiasco, Immortal Technique, Royce the 5'9". There's some guys, when they be rapping and throwing out that conscious shit, bro, their rhymes be full of fucking information, bro, full of information. So I try to emulate that same consciousness style. There's another dude, this motherfucker named Locksmith. A lot of people don't know about Locksmith, yo. But his bars be crazy. Really positive bars, but he be dropping like gems and trying to break down the system and get motherfuckers to understand like who is who. One of the old heads from back in the day, Killer Priest. Mostly everybody who from Wu-Tang and all the Wu-Tang affiliates, like Wu-Tang taught a lot of shit, yo. If you listen to old Wu-Tang music, like they're teaching a lot of shit in their music, yo. You know what I'm saying? Like I say, especially Killer Priest, that one song, Bible basic instructions before leaving Earth. I was like, what the fuck? Yo, but how he break down shit in that track, it taught me more. Yo, Killer Priest taught me more in that song than any religious service or any book that I had read up until that time. And I was like, all right. All right, so now we got two new versions of this song that we're going to listen to. I hope one of them is good.
Presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. Listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new.
I don't really like the beat, yo. It seems like so far, this program is able to get those lyrics damn near exactly how I want it, which is good enough. Like, but I'm just trying to find a perfect beat for the lyrics, man. That one is like, eh.
Assassinations on replay, no time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say, and listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay, no time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say, and listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Central banks and global corporations run the nation. Military complex spread like a contagion with the wars they waging. Guys are stripping flames, and we know just who to blame, cause it probably was the same mastermind who did that thing with a Nord Stream pipeline. Ultimate deception, weighing it like some white lies. Propaganda keeps the masses watching on the news with politicians in suits and preachers in the pulpit. It's all bullshit, smoking illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. The grand chessboard, the creature from Jekyll Island, Epstein, Noriega, CIA, co-pilot. Heavily redacted files and show trials for disgrace. Jones struck Assange and put it on display. Brainwashing tactics got the hate misplaced. And this is the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassination.
I don't like either one of those. Oh well. Like I say, we can try it again tomorrow. We'll try it again tomorrow. There's a like I say, so far I got like a few versions of it that aren't terrible, that I don't mind listening to actually. So we're off to a good start. Trying to get colors. Do some gold ochre. Wait, first, let me put some raw sienna. So we got Van Dyke brown, and then we did some transparent red oxide. This right here is some, this is raw sienna. And then we're gonna do some gold ochre. And I wanna get something lighter. I'm gonna do, I'm gonna need a red, and I'm definitely gonna need some, I'm gonna do orange, and I need a lighter shade of red. But I gotta piss again. I swear on everything I love, bro. I drank so much water this morning. Fuck. This is not good. Damn. No, this is not good at all. Yo, my man Kid, how's it going, bro? Good morning. Grand morrow.
Presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Central banks and global corporations run the nation. Military complex spread like a contagion. With the wars they waging, Gaza stripping flames, and we know just who to blame, cause it probably was the same mastermind who did that thing with the Nord Stream pipeline. Ultimate deception, playing it like some white lies. Propaganda keeps the masses watching all the news with politicians in suits and preachers in the pulpit. It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. The grand chessboard, the creature from Jekyll Island, Epstein, Noriega, CIA co-pilot, heavily redacted files and show trials for disgrace. Chose Trump, Assange, and put it on display. Brainwashing tactics got the hate misplaced. And this is the new mixtape from the deep state. Assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Burton, Raytheon, JPL, Lockheed Martin. No big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing because their stocks make the biggest profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Sutro and Tim Osmond. Spooks by the door and skeletons in the closet. We're tired of corruption and all the silly nonsense. We need more discussion and less of the conflicts. But that makes the dollars, and money is the power. They send us to war while they hide and they cower. And they're ivory towers. These are the last hours. It's time to make a change before they can devour. Everything's sacred, replace it with more hatred. Who will you blame if you ain't help fight the changing? They want to kill your joy, your freedom, and faith. And you listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Halliburton, Raytheon, JPL, Lockheed Martin. No big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing because their stocks make the biggest profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Sutro and Tim Osmond. Spooks on the door and skeletons in the closet. Halliburton, Raytheon, JPL, Lockheed Martin. No big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing because their stocks make the biggest profits. And I know who the op is. Barry Sutro and Tim Osmond. Spooks by the door and skeletons in the closet. It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion.
I say that's not a bad version right here, yo. I ain't gonna lie, yo. What I'm trying to do is get a voice that sounds a little blacker. It just sounds like a white guy, which isn't terrible. Like I said, I like this version.
It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. The actual assassinations on replay, no time to delay.
All right, so no, we're done with you for right now since we can't make no new songs. Like I said, I wrote that song just the other day, so I don't even have it memorized yet. Global corporations. Oh, no. Central banks and global corporations run the nation. Damn, I can't even remember nothing past that. All right, guys, this shit is getting real. I don't know what this is, but we're about to listen to this real quick. These commercials, like, Get the fuck on. Bye-bye commercials. Can you please stop? All right, here we go.
And there's a disturbingly realistic robot, plus an AI that can detect cancer, and another robot that's powered by mushrooms. Yes, powered by mushrooms. And this AI can generate a video game in real time as you play, plus a lot more news.
I seen that one, yo. The Doom, yo. Yo, this fucking AI emulated the Doom game in real time.
This AI is called AINU, which stands for AI of the nucleus, and it's trained to tell the difference between cancer cells and normal cells. It can also detect early signs of viral infections inside the cells, so this could really improve how we diagnose diseases and monitor health. You can see its accuracy is close to 100%. So AINU works by analyzing high-resolution images of cells. These images were taken using a special technique called STORM, and this method reveals tiny details that regular microscopes can't see. So this AI can find changes as small as 20 nanometers. That's way smaller than the human hair, just for comparison. These tiny changes can show how DNA is arranged in cells. The AI uses convolutional neural networks, which is often used for object recognition and to find patterns in images. So basically, you plug in an image and it analyzes this image using different convolutional layers in the neural network. This is the same technology that's used in face recognition, or like how your phone or laptop unlocks after seeing your face. But instead of analyzing your face, AINU uses this technology to analyze cell images. And after being trained on many images, it can very accurately identify cancerous cells. One really awesome feature about AINU is its speed. It can detect changes in a cell just 1 hour after infection. This is super quick and way faster than traditional methods, which rely mostly on visible symptoms. With AINU, doctors could diagnose infections quickly from simple blood samples, and this could lead to way faster and better treatments and vaccines. Now, before AINU can be used in hospitals, some challenges still must be overcome. So, for example, the imaging equipment that's needed for this is expensive and complex. So currently, it can only analyze a few cells at a time. It's not really scalable yet, so researchers hope that improvements in technology will make this easier to scale and implement in hospitals worldwide. So with this technology, AINU could greatly help in scientific research and improve stem cell therapy, for example. Alright, next up we have this. No, this is not a human dressed in a suit, this is actually a legit robot. Although, I'm not sure why it had to be dressed in a suit. I think the designer needs to rethink this. Anyways, this robot is called Neo, and it's by 1X Technology. This humanoid robot is designed for home use, so it stands at around 5.5 feet, and it only weighs 66 pounds, so super lightweight. Despite its small size though, it has impressive abilities, so it can lift double its weight and carry up to 44 pounds. It can even run at speeds of up to 7.5 miles per hour. Plus, it operates for 2 to 4 hours on a single charge. And as you can see, the design of Neo is very unique. It features a bio-inspired look, mimicking human muscle structure. This allows for smooth, natural movements. So for example, as I mentioned before, it can walk, it can jog, it can even walk up and down stairs. And this makes it very practical for everyday tasks around the house. And like many other humanoid robots, which have an AI model built into their heads, this one can also follow natural language commands. This allows for more natural and fluid interactions with the user. And safety was a big focus during Neo's development, so it has a soft and compliant design for safe interaction. And because
What amazing ideas do you have buzzing around in your head? Turn your ideas into reality with an Azure free account. Azure gives you everything you need to develop apps across cloud and hybrid environments. Scale workloads, create cloud-connected mobile experiences, and so much more. Start building in the cloud today. Sign up for an Azure free account and
it's lightweight, there's less risk of injury in case of a collision. So even if the robot were to like fall on you, it wouldn't really crush your bones or anything. Plus, the awesome thing is the robot has no pinch points, making it really safe to use. I've heard some horror stories of earlier Boston Dynamics robots where an engineer's finger got caught in one of the pinch points of the robots and it clipped his finger off. Not sure how true that is, but it is an inherent risk. But this robot apparently has no pinch points, so it's really safe and reliable. Now, as you can see here, it's great with household chores like cleaning and organizing. It's also useful for helping people with mobility challenges. And besides homes, this can also be used in industrial settings. So the company is planning some limited testing later this year. This could be a major step towards bringing humanoid robots to our everyday lives. Imagine one of these in each of our homes, helping us do daily chores. All right, next up, Alibaba has launched a new AI model, and it's called Quansu VL. VL stands for Vision Language, so this seems to be a natively multimodal model that can understand images as well as text or natural language. And the crazy thing about this is that it is shown to outperform GPT-4o in various benchmarks. Now, this is their own report, so do take it with a slight grain of salt, but you can see here for mathematical reasoning, for document and diagrams reading, for visual question answering, video understanding, visual agent, it basically outperforms most of these metrics compared to GPT-4. So its vision analysis model is very capable. I'll link to this article in the description below, but it says it can handle images of different sizes and shapes. It can even analyze videos that are over 20 minutes long. And it's great at tackling complex tasks too. So here are just some examples. Output the color and number of each box. So it's quite a tricky prompt, but you can see it answered this correctly. The AI also supports many languages. So of course it can understand English and other European languages, but it also works with Japanese, Korean, Arabic, and Vietnamese, just to name a few. Now, the one that outperforms GPT-4o is the 72 billion parameter model. And note that this is the May version of GPT-4o. OpenAI has since released a much better version in August, which they have not compared here. So for the 72B, it seems we cannot get access yet. However, they have released and open sourced two smaller versions, the 2 billion and 7 billion parameter models, which you can use on Hugging Face. So let me know in the comments if you want me to do a review on these two models and compare it with something like GPT-4o Mini. But anyways, why is this so impressive? Well, first of all, this is coming from Alibaba from China. And you know, the company that's making the best computing hardware for AI is arguably NVIDIA. And as we know, the US government has banned NVIDIA from selling to China. But even with this handicap, it seems like China has come up with a way to build their own compute, and they're kind of catching up. They've built this model that is as good, apparently, as GPT-4o. And keep in mind, GPT-4o could be over 1 trillion parameters in size, whereas this one is only 72 billion. So it seems like OpenAI and Anthropic, they might not have a moat or a competitive edge anymore. Like, competition is fierce, and other companies could easily catch up, as we've seen with like Grok 2 and now Qwen 2. All right, next up, Cornell University has created a fascinating new type of robot. These robots are called biohybrid robots, and what makes them special is that they use mushrooms to help control their movements. Yes, you heard it, mushrooms. So apparently researchers have discovered this fungus that can send electrical signals. And these signals, if you like add this fungus into the robot, it allows the robot to react to their surroundings in unique ways. So the team published a paper on this groundbreaking research. Now, unfortunately for most people, you can't get access to this. You need to pay for this, which is lame. I mean, come on, science robotics. It's 2024. Do you still need to gate scientific knowledge with a price? I'm really not a fan of these like academic publishing companies that have a paywall. I mean, knowledge should be free, and I mean, they're not paying the researchers, they're not paying the readers, they just hog all the money for themselves. But anyways, this team of researchers at Cornell, they published this paper, and they looked at how this fungus or this mycelia can sense different inputs, such as light. And using mycelia as a component in these robots is quite interesting. Mycelia can grow in tough conditions, it can respond to various signals, and unlike synthetic sensors, which operate on one task, mycelia can respond to multiple signals. It could be light, it could be chemicals, it could be heat, and this makes them much more versatile for robots. So this is a really interesting intersection between different fields, right? So the team needed to combine knowledge from mechanical engineering, but also from mycology, or the study of fungi, and also neurobiology. And then eventually they came up with a system that can accurately record this electric activity in this mycelia or fungus in real time. And from this, it can process these electric signals and then convert that information into a digital control signal to control robots. So the team actually built 2 robots. One is a robot shaped like a spider, which you see here. Plus they also made a wheeled robot. Now this is still in its very early stages. It's not able to do anything fancy, but it's the first time that anyone has powered a robot using fungi or mushrooms. So it's a really interesting intersection. Thanks to the sponsor of this video, UPix. If you're feeling overwhelmed with Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, you don't want to worry about prompting or learning all these different settings, well, UPix has made it dead easy for you to generate high-quality, realistic images of yourself or anyone else in just one click. It works on desktop as well as on your phone. You don't need to install any apps or anything, it just works straight from your internet browser. Simply select a template, and then upload your photo, and then click Create. It's as easy as that. And look how realistic the results are. There's many templates for you to choose from and more to come, so check it out at upix.app. Alright, next news is even crazier. So Google Research has developed this AI that can generate this classic game called Doom in real time. Alright, everything is completely generated with AI. So as the user walks around and moves around, AI generates these scenes in real time, which is pretty incredible if you think about it. It runs at over 20 frames per second and it looks almost like the original game. Everything is just made up as the user walks around. So you can see how this can completely change the future of video games. Maybe companies don't actually need to design the video game anymore. And instead, they just need to make an AI that would automatically generate the video game as the user moves around. Another impressive thing about it is it can do all of this using just one TPU, or tensor processing unit. This is still a pretty badass, computing hardware, but just for comparison, the best large language models out there like GPT-4o or Claude, they require tens of thousands or even over 100,000 state-of-the-art GPUs to run. But this only runs on a single chip. So here's how they trained the model. First, they got the model to play the game for a lot of times, and then using reinforcement learning, it would get better and better at the game. While it's playing these thousands of iterations of games, the gameplay is also recorded, and then this data is fed into this diffusion model. Now, diffusion models are basically the backbone behind image and video generators. So for example, Stable Diffusion or Flux and Sora, they all use diffusion models to generate the image or the video. And this AI is no exception. So this AI also uses a diffusion model to generate the video game frame by frame. And it's trained on generating these frames using the gameplay data. So this is just incredible. This is the first AI model to generate a complete and playable video game in real time. And it does this without relying on a real game engine. So pretty soon we're about to see an era where AI can just generate entire games on the fly. And this is definitely going to change video game design and development forever. This isn't even a hyperbole. Imagine games that are personalized for each player. In other news, this company called Magic has developed a new model called LTM2 Mini, and LTM stands for long-term memory, and this model can process 100 million tokens at once.
Biocomputing?
That's
That
huge.
is?
So for your
What are you
reference,
saying, man? That shit is wild, bro.
GPT-4o, the state-of-the-art model, only has a window of
Using some
128,000
fungus?
tokens, and the model with the Biggest token window right now is Gemini 1.5 Pro, which can take in 1 million tokens. And with 1 million tokens, you can analyze 1 hour of video or 11 hours of audio, over 30,000 lines of code, or over 70,000 words. But this is nothing in comparison to this new LTM Mini, which can take in 100 times more tokens. This is just absolutely insane. So for your reference, 100 million tokens equals around 10 million lines of code or 700
God
billion
damn, 10
novels.
million
The cool
lines
thing
of
is
code?
LTM2 Mini also understands
What can you code with
context
10 million
50
lines?
times better than current models. It uses a special algorithm that processes long data sequences 1,000 times more efficiently. This means it can analyze complex information quickly and accurately, even if it's buried in like a ton of text or a ton of articles. And this efficiency and accuracy sets a new standard for AI performance. So Magic is teaming up with Google Cloud to build advanced supercomputers as well. So they've announced 2 supercomputers. One is called Magic G4, which is powered by NVIDIA's H100 GPU. This was the most demanded commodity in the tech world in 2023, and it was basically sold out because all the tech giants were hoarding it. And then Magic G5, which is powered by NVIDIA's latest and even better Grace Blackwell 200 chip. And with these resources, they can really push the boundaries of what AI can do. Anyways, this announcement about LTM2 Mini is a breakthrough for many reasons. This allows AI to handle very dense code bases and large databases at once. So imagine an AI assistant that can remember years of conversation history. And if you ask it something, it can actually like scan through all of these hundreds of thousands of lines of code and actually find what you want. This could lead to an AI with near perfect memory and recall, making them much more useful than what we have today. In other news, OpenAI is reportedly in talks to raise a new round of funding. This would get OpenAI valued at over $100 billion. I mean, look at the smile on his face. Anyways, this would be a big jump from their last valuation of $86 billion, and if this happens, this would be one of the highest valuations for any AI startup. So apparently, Thrive Capital, which was a previous investor, is leading this funding.
I said I'd never leave the house.
They are
Shit.
expected to invest around
What
$1
game you
billion.
playing? I don't know.
Plus,
It's a,
Microsoft is also
it
expected
changes as I
to
go.
participate. There
You
are
know,
also
I was
rumors
a
that
space
Apple
pirate.
might also
Now
participate.
I'm hunting
And then
dinosaurs.
there are other investors like
You know?
Coastal Ventures, Infosys, and Y Combinator. And
So it all depends
OpenAI
on what I
really
feel like
needs
doing.
this funding
In-
because
in a-
they're
in a minute, it
actually
might change
facing
to a racing
quite
game.
huge losses. Even though their annual revenue is reported to be $3.4 billion
So if
this year, their costs are super high.
if you ever watched the movie Ready Player One, I really think we're not far from that. I don't think we're very far off from Ready Player One, which is pretty dang cool in my opinion. You know, pretty dang cool, man. I can't believe I actually lived to see like dope ass VR technology. Cause once again, this shit they've been saying this since my childhood. Oh, we'll have robots and talking computers and VR, and it's like, yeah, y'all always make that shit seem like super way off in the future, but no, all that shit is here now. So it's fucking dope as shit. Now we'll have like personalized, procedurally generated AI run video games for each individual. So the game can have a title, but your playthrough and my playthrough will be nothing alike at all. It will not be the same experience. And if we do want to experience the same thing, we'll hop into like some super gaming server, like I said, that's similar to what they had in Ready Player One. I'm dropping brushes. Don't drop your brush. I don't know what happened to my YouTube, my Instagram stream.
Never stuck, just the only bigger one it might have been was Big Meech. 200 million bricks, 200 million records. He the only one that could compete. Either.
Yeah, well, like I say, my Instagram stream just stopped. So what y'all think about the gangs taking over Colorado? You know what? I need to find some more on that today, actually. Because first of all, I just saw like some TikTok videos, and it was from like black people. Like you can hear a young black man. You know, you're hearing his voice. He sounds like a young black guy. It's like, yo, these fucking Venezuela motherfuckers going crazy. Say, yo, did he just carjack that dude? Yo, they just carjacked that man. He's like, yo, they wildin', yo, they wildin'. And that's, like I say, that's a black dude saying that shit about these immigrant motherfuckers. Like, yo, these niggas is coming here doing the fucking most. They doing the most. And then I saw another video of some guys. I didn't know what it was. It was just a video. It looked like an apartment complex inside a building, and a group of guys come up the stairs, and they're like knocking on this door. One or two guys are on cell phones, and they kind of like walk away from the door, and then they come back to the door, and then the door opens, and then like this whole group of guys just go inside this apartment. But you can see clearly, like, a couple of them were fucking armed, bro. They had like some switches on them. So I'm like, what the fuck what y'all got going on over there? You know what I'm saying? Y'all just walk around with switches out like that? Well, gaming would be like dreaming. Whatever you can think of, man, that shit can switch on the fly. It's artificial intelligence, man. It can make that shit up as we go. Just after seeing a couple of videos of these gangs, this morning I saw this one clip. It's just some guy driving down the highway, and it was an ass of fucking bikers, like a lot of motorcycles going on the opposite way, you know? And then underneath the clip, it said, yep, Hell's Angels are headed to Aurora. I was like, oh shit. I don't know much about it. But I know you don't supposed to fuck with the Hell's Angels. I know that's one thing. That's one of them brotherhoods that you don't really supposed to fuck with them dudes, man. Cause they got pulled in certain ways where some of them motherfuckers can catch bodies. And that's it. You know, they just catch bodies. Nobody won't know nothing from here to there. Yeah, I seen this one documentary about a trial of one of the Hell's Angels, like a murder trial. Yeah, they couldn't get that motherfucker, bro. I said, God damn, these motherfuckers deep. Yeah. These motherfuckers is deep. Damn near had him dead to rights. But whatever. It's witnesses, man. I think they needed some witnesses. And you know what? Nobody don't snitch on the Hells Angels. Yo, nobody don't snitch on the Hells Angels, man. Whatever happened, happened. I ain't seen nothing. It was. Are you the restaurant owner? Yes, I am. Were you there that night? Yes, I was. Can you tell me what happened? I ain't seen nothing. What do you mean? I don't. I mean, I didn't see anything, and that night is really foggy to me. I don't have a good recollection of most of the events that happened that night. You know, it was a busy night at work, and I don't know. Then there was some commotion, and then the cops came. I didn't see anything. I didn't hear anything. I don't remember anything. Commotion. What do you mean when you say commotion? Well, you know, whatever the textbook definition of commotion is. I was in the back. I heard loud voices, and that was it. Did you see this gentleman? I didn't see nobody do nothing. I ain't seen nobody do nothing. Can I go now? Huh? Trying to get me murdered, nigga. You got me answering all these questions about these fine individuals. These lovely gentlemen. Pillars of the community they are. And you want me to say what? I don't think so. I ain't seen a damn thing. Trying to get me in bad standings. You out your damn mind. So now I definitely want to look up some news shit. See what these biker gang, see what this biker gang shit talking about. All right, I'm gonna have to get something to eat soon. I had a banana, but like I said, I did a pretty decent workout this morning. I should have tried to eat more before I sat down. I'm trying to think of something I can eat real quick. Y'all see how I do that? I just smudge it in there a little bit. You know, I'm just trying to find like the zones, the big areas where the color gonna go. Something like that, I guess. I don't know. I make it up as I go. Maybe need that a little smidget darker. Bro, I gotta eat. Oh my god. Man, you about to start hearing my stomach in a minute. Let me I ain't gonna lie, man. I grilled out yesterday. I made some burgers and shit. But I didn't have a burger yesterday. I had steak. I put burgers, steaks, brats, and corn on the cob on the grill. But I only had steak and corn. I ain't even try one of the burgers. You know what? But that's about to be I would say breakfast, but it's 11. It's almost 11, so this is brunch. I think I can have a burger for brunch. Burgers for brunch. Burgers for brunch. Burgers for brunch. Burgers for brunch. You know what I'm saying? Get a little burger real quick. Actually, cook some bacon too, man. Let me find out about to go make me a bacon cheeseburger real fast. Everything done. You know, all I gotta do is heat it up and slap it together. All you gotta do is heat it up, slap it together. All right, let me do that real quick. Thanks for being patient. Appreciate y'all chilling out with me on this big Monday. You know what I'm saying? Monday, fun day. Trying to get some little pieces of this commission work done today. We moving at a good clip, you know what I'm saying? Cause I just got the commission on Saturday. So, you know, for being this far in just a couple days, seems pretty good. So I ain't trying to, you know, super rush through it. But let me go fix this burger. I'll be back.
All this compute to power their AI models. So actually, they are on track to lose nearly $5 billion by end of year. And here it says it has already burnt through $8.5 billion on AI training and staffing. So this new round of funding is actually quite crucial for their growth. It would help them cover losses and continue developing new AI technologies. And on the note of OpenAI, here's another article. OpenAI and Anthropic have just signed a deal with the US government for AI research and testing. Yes, this includes Anthropic, which is OpenAI's biggest rival. So it seems like they have signed deals with the US AI Safety Institute, and this deal lets the government access and test their AI models before anyone else. So the US government will be able to look at these new models from both companies and evaluate them before they are released to the public. Now, there has been some debate online on whether we should do this. Should we really give the US government access to the most powerful and cutting-edge AI models? And do we really trust that it will not be abused by a political entity? And this isn't the first time we've heard about this. I've done several videos in the past showing how OpenAI was working more closely with the US government over time. They've also been collaborating with DARPA and NSA, so it seems like the leading AI companies, at least in the US, are working more and more closely with the US government, and this could change how AI is developed and tested, at least in the US. This could somehow impact innovation and safety and competition in the AI space. In other news, this is called Voice Pilot, and it's developed by Carnegie Mellon University, and this is aimed to improve communication between humans and assistive robots. So just to give you some background, around 5 million people in the US have motor impairments, so they have difficulty moving around compared to a normal person. Now, they've designed this robot to help individuals with daily tasks and boost their independence. So they made this framework called Voice Pilot, which is designed to make interactions more natural and effective. They basically embedded this AI, or this large language model, into an assistive robot that can feed these people with motor impairments, and instead of them having to press a button or doing any like complex movement, all you have to do is talk to it.
Feed me a scoop of blueberry and yogurt combined.
3 days later.
So users can give it personalized instructions, as you can see here, similar to speaking to a human caregiver. So they've tested this robot with 11 adults, and then they found that here are some ways they can improve this further. So this integration should offer some customization options. It should be able to execute multiple options sequentially. So for example, feed it this, and then feed me that, and then do something else. It should also be able to execute commands with the speeds comparable to a human, so this robot does move quite slow right now. We gotta speed this up or it's gonna take forever to feed someone. Plus they need to improve the consistency. So anyways, that sums up the highlights in AI this week. This is a more rapid fire format. Let me know if you like this in the comments below. Let me know what you think of all of this. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I try to respond to as many comments as possible. As always, I will be on the lookout for the top AI news and tools to share with you. So if you enjoyed this video, remember to like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more content. Also, there's just so much happening in the world of AI every week. I can't possibly cover everything on my YouTube channel. So to really stay up to date with all that's going on in AI, be sure to subscribe to my free weekly newsletter. The link to that will be in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
To career in cybersecurity, we can help you get there. Our stackable cybersecurity programs offer the flexibility to earn a higher degree at your own pace. Advance your ambition in cybersecurity at devry.edu.
This month, AI has reached a new level with breakthroughs that are both exciting and terrifying. From OpenAI's release of a new humanoid robot, Figure 02, to the stealthy launch of an upgraded ChatGPT, the race to advance AI technology is heating up. Google's latest AI models, including the upgraded Gemini Pro 0801 and the newly released Gemini Live, are turning heads, while new AI robots are starting to blur the lines between human and machine capabilities. Meanwhile, OpenAI's Orion, GPT-5, with Strawberry AI and Google's cutting-edge AI innovations are setting the stage for the next era of artificial intelligence. And as if that wasn't enough, we've seen the emergence of autonomous AI scientists and powerful new tools like Grok 2.0 and Agent Q, redefining what's achievable. Stick around as we uncover the most astonishing AI stories from August 2024. Okay, let's talk about something super exciting and honestly a little bit terrifying in the world of AI. If you've been following the AI image generation scene for a while, you know we've had some big players dominating the space. Midjourney, DALL-E, Stable Diffusion. But guess what? A fresh contender has arrived and it goes by the name Flux. And trust me, you're going to want to know about this one. So where do we start? Let's kick things off with a little background on what's been going on in the AI world. You see, for the last couple of years, we've seen a massive boom in AI-generated art. Tools like Adobe Firefly, Midjourney, DALL-E, and Stable Diffusion have been battling it out to be the top dog, each one pushing the boundaries with their updates. But now, something new has entered the ring and it's got everyone talking. All right, let me paint you a picture. You're scrolling through your social media feed and you come across an image that looks so real, you'd swear it was a photograph. But then you do a double take. Maybe it's the way the text on a lanyard looks a little funky, or the patterns in the background seem a bit off. That's when you realize you're not looking at a photo. You're looking at an AI-generated image. And this thing is as close to real as it gets without actually being real. That's Flux for you, and it's causing quite...
This thing?
It's what's going on inside of me. It's my moderate to severe ulcerative colitis. It wasn't always this calm. UC went everywhere I did. Wondering when it would pop up next was stressful, doing a number on my insides. But then I found out about Velsipity, a once-daily pill, not a steroid or biologic, for adults with moderate to severe UC. Velsipity can help calm the chaos of UC. It quickly treats flares, providing a chance for lasting steroid-free remission. Don't take Velsipity if you've had a heart attack, chest pain, stroke or mini-stroke, heart failure in the last 6 months, irregular or abnormal heartbeat. Velsipity may cause serious side effects.
Phytoster. So Flux is an open source AI image generator that's being developed by a company.
Let me listen to Umar Johnson say something crazy. Yeah, my bread is sliding. Yeah. When I say I got McDonald's at home, this is what I mean. I got McDonald's at home. And I don't gotta pay 50 or 75 cents for extra cups of barbecue sauce. Is it not playing? I thought I clicked on it. What happened?
Up in the emotionalism of election 2024.
There we go. He started out perfect. Emotions. That's how these motherfuckers trying to get you with the Democrat side, bro. Emotions. Emotions, emotions. Look, I'm cool with this person. I'm cool with that person. I look this way. And I can talk like this. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit, bitch. What you gonna do for me in the country? My son will be 20 years old this year. I need to be assured that he'll be able to prosper in this country as an adult without terrible hardships and being fucking broken in debt all the fucking time. I don't need all the emotional shit, man. I need facts and numbers. Fuck the emotions.
Goon Tade. Kamala Harris is Barack Obama 2.0. Unlike many of my fellow American Africans, unlike many of my fellow American Africans, unlike many of my fellow American Africans who are caught up in the emotionalism,
he says that's a tactic that he uses to help make his message sink in deeper. And some things here repeated 3 times. I get it, but I hate when he does that shit.
election 2024. I'm not caught up in the emotionalism of election 2024. If it's one thing political science has taught me, you cannot be emotional when making political decisions. You cannot be emotional when conducting political analysis. 3 things came out. 4 things came out.
Attention. President Trump is going to end all taxes on Social Security benefits and end all taxes on tips collected by service workers.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
You can't do this.
I didn't do this. You did this.
With grades like this, I'm gonna have to hit the corner, sir.
Who's running the school? Is it us or is it them?
Becca said I have no butt.
Very clearly to me in Vice President Harris's lecture. And for my Democratic Party plantation slaves, I am neither pro-Trump nor pro-Harris. I want to be very clear. I am neither pro-Trump nor pro-Harris. I want to be very, very clear. I am neither pro-Trump or pro-Harris. Let me make this very, very clear. The reason Vice President Harris gets more attention is because the black bourgeoisie, the Kun Illuminati, the untalented 10th, the Negro aristocracy is actively selling Vice President Harris to the American African community. The bourgeoisie, the untalented 10th, the Kun Illuminati, the Negro aristocracy is trying to shame American Africans into voting for Vice President Harris. So she's going to get more attention because we already know what the Donald Trump agenda is for African people, and it's not good. We already know what the Donald Trump agenda is for the American African people, and it's not good. We already know what the Donald Trump agenda is for the American African, and it's not good. But the black bourgeoisie, particularly the celebrity elite of the Negro aristocracy, the celebrity elite of the Negro aristocracy, the celebrity elite of the Negro aristocracy is trying to sell us Vice President Harris. So what are the 4 themes that came out in Vice President Harris's speech? Now let's put this in context. Let Intercontinental Ifa Tunde put this in context. Toronto, Canada, October 5th and 6th, pull-up season. Toronto, Canada, October 5th and 6th, pull-up season. Toronto, Canada, October 5th and 6th, pull-up season. Melbourne and Sydney, Australia, the date will be dropping soon. Melbourne and Sydney, Australia, the date will be dropping soon. My Australian Africans, God willing, I will...
What the fuck is this dude doing, yo? He's doing some weird shit right now in the video. It's so, I don't know. He's I hate even, I'm not even gonna say it, but it just looks weird what he's doing right now.
See you before the year ends, completing my continental suite, the first scholar of modern time to be invited to speak on every continent in the world at least twice. History will be made in Melbourne and Sydney, Australia. History will be made in Melbourne or Sydney, Australia. But the 4 themes that came out in Vice President Harris's speech, and mind you, she did not write the speech. The white power structure does not leave speech writing to the politicians for president. Let us be clear. She did not write the speech. She gave the speech. So when you're analyzing and evaluating, when you're trying to understand, overstand, and understand Vice President Harris's words, you have to think about the power structure who wrote the speech, the messages they wanted to give to the American people, and the messages, more importantly, that they did not want to give to the American African people. Let me say that again. Shout out to the Virgos. I understand we in Virgo season, but I'm still rocking my Leo colors. Michelle Obama is not a candidate for president. Like I said, presidential candidates do not write their own speeches when it comes to speaking at their respective parties' national convention. Please improve your listening comprehension skills. Please improve your listening comprehension skills. Please improve your listening comprehension skills. So what were the messages that the white power structure put into Vice President Harris's speech? A couple of messages. Number 1, immigrants are the future of America. That's number 1. Oh, yes. People of color are the future of America. People of color does not include black. People of color is a code word that we're talking to all non-black people of color. So that's number 1. People of color are not included in the future. Excuse me. People of color are the future of America. American Africans are not. People of color are the future of America, but American Africans are not. Didn't you find how strategically They played to black people. They had a black anchor. They had a black band. They had Al Sharpton. They had my beautiful sister, Kerry Washington, who's a fabulous orator. A fabulous orator, but a Democratic Party plantation slave nonetheless, but a fabulous orator. They had D.L. Hughley. Come on out there.
Hughley was there? Oh, no. Oh, not D.L. Hughley. I thought my brother been smarter than that.
I wanted my hepatitis C gone.
I put off treating mine.
Epclusa treats
That's
all main
wild,
types of
bro.
chronic
D.L.
hep C.
Hughley?
Whatever your type, Epclusa could be your kind of cure.
I just found out about mine.
I know for years. Epclusa has a 98% overall cure rate.
They had the Central Park Five. Come on out there. They played to black people's emotions very well. They played to black people's emotions very well. They played to black people's emotions very well, but they strategically and effectively did not discuss black people at all. Are you feeling me? Where are my deep thinkers at? This is a message for deep thinking Africans. Emotional plantation party members, get off the feed right now. This is not a conversation for Democratic Party plantation slaves. This is a conversation for independent African thinkers. This is a live for independent African thinkers. If you are not an independent African thinker, you don't want to hear this message. If you are not an independent African thinker, you don't want to hear this message. If you are not an independent African thinker, you don't want to hear this message. The imagery was all for black people. The imagery was all for black people. The imagery was all for black people. The messages were completely devoid of anything relevant to black people. They used the imagery to appeal to Africans. The message was completely irrelevant to American Africans. Kind of reminds me of the last Transformers movie. It kind of reminds me of the last Transformers movie where they played hip-hop music throughout the whole movie. Rise of the Beast. Rise of the Beast. They played all black hip-hop music in the last Transformers movie, but the main character was a person of color. The main character was a person of color. There were almost no black people in the movie. The sidekick sister was in the movie. The beautiful African sister was in the movie, but outside of her, there were hardly any black people in Transformers, but they played hip-hop music through the whole movie. So if you were not a deep thinker, you would think Transformers had a bunch of black actors, but it only had one black actor, but they played hip-hop music. The Democratic National Convention, they used black music. They played Beyonce. They had a black band. They had Al Sharpton, D.L. Hughley, the Central Park Five, but no messages for black people in Kamala Harris's speech. No messages for black people in Kamala Harris's speech. No messages for black people in Kamala Harris's speech. What you heard was immigrants over and over again. Her Indian mother, who raised her after separating from her father, she bigged up immigrants. She bigged up immigrants. Barack Obama bigged up the rainbow. Joe Biden bigged up the rainbow. Kamala Harris is bigging up the immigrant. Black people, we're done. Black people, we are done unless we decide to save ourselves. I want y'all to hear me tonight. Kamala Harris made sure not to touch on anything that matters to black people. Kamala Harris made sure not to touch on anything that matters to black people. Her message was clear. Immigrants are the future. Immigrants are the future of America. which makes sense because white people are losing their numbers. Which makes sense because white people are losing their numbers. Which makes sense because white people are losing their numbers. And so the people of color are the new probationary whites in America. I hope you American Africans are listening to me. I hope you American Africans are listening to me. I hope you American Africans are listening to me. People of color is the new code word for temporary Caucasian. People of color is the new code word for probationary Caucasian. I hope you're listening to me. People of color is the new code word for symbolic Caucasian. I hope y'all listening. And black people, part of this is our fault. American Africans, first of all, the melanin is dripping in Virgo season because the Leo sun is in the sky every day. Melanin's drip. The melanin is dripping right now, brothers and sisters. I look fabulous, if I might say so myself. My African DNA, my ancestral lineage is shining through. Not a lineage of slaves, but a lineage of freedom fighters. Not a lineage of slaves, but a lineage of the enslaved. Not a lineage of slaves, but a lineage of the free. See, unlike you Negroes,
what if all insurance companies were like NJM and didn't use mascots and were known for putting their policyholders first? Then all those insurance mascots would have to get real jobs.
So, I like honey barbecue, you like honey barbecue. I like football, I think you like football. We're like the brothers we never had.
unlike you Negroes, I don't believe there were slaves in America before 1865. There were enslaved Africans in America, but there were no slaves. Enslaved, you are forced. Slave, you are willing. Enslaved, you are forced. Slave, you are willing. Are you following me, brothers and sisters? Give me some hearts from the queens and some fists from the kings. Are you following me, my unapologetically African anti-snow bunny alpha males? Are you following me, my unapologetically African anti-snow puppy queens out there? We were enslaved before 1865. We volunteered to be slaves after 1865. We were enslaved before 1865. We volunteered to be slaves after 1865. We have been pushing multiculturalism to our own detriment for the last 24 years. I'm scolding the black bourgeoisie. I'm scolding the Negro elite. I'm scolding the black church. I'm scolding the black secret societies. I'm scolding black America. Did we or did we not push multiculturalism since the year 2000? True or false? Doesn't every other black person you know talk about how they love all people? They don't see color. Talk black to me right now, Africans. Did we not, for the last quarter of a century, tell the whole world we love everybody and we don't want no special treatment? We don't want no favors. True or false, brothers and sisters? Did we not dig the ditch? Did we not dig the grave that Barack Obama, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris have pushed us into? Did not the American African people? Did we or did we not dig the grave for the past 24 years that Barack, Biden, and Kamala are going to push us into? We created this people of color multicultural comfortability. We made it comfortable for them to ignore us for the POCs. And when I say POC, I'm speaking of peoples of color. When I say POC, the POCs, we got the LGBTs and now we got the POCs. We got the LGBTs and now we got the POCs, immigrants who are coming to remove the American African. New York and Chicago. were only the testing grounds because they are the two largest and the two strongest black communities. New York City and Chicago was only the testing ground because they were the two largest and the two strongest black communities. Once Kamala gets elected, they are going to take the migrant crisis national. Oh, yes. Jackson, Mississippi, Memphis, Tennessee, Detroit, Michigan, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Little Rock. The immigration crisis is coming to a black community near you. I said the immigration crisis is coming to a black community near you. I said the immigration crisis is coming to a black community near you. Kamala Harris made it clear. The future of America is the future of probationary whites, symbolic whites, the POCs, people of color. People of color are the new Americans. White people numbers are down. They're not reproducing. They're trying to isolate the mitochondrial DNA of the African queendom, but they have not been successful. Until then, people of color will rule you. Let's go to the Caribbean islands for comparative analysis. Let's go to the Caribbean islands for comparative analysis. Shall we go to the Caribbean islands for comparative analysis? Where are my Caribbean Africans at? Where are my Caribbean Africans at? Where are my Caribbean Africans at? This is the Prince of Pan-Africanism coming to you live from Wilmington, Delaware. FDMG, Wilmington, Delaware. Hit the Cash App and the PayPal for the School of the Future. FDMG, Wilmington, Delaware. Let's go to the Caribbean. My Jamaican Africans know this. My Bermudian Africans know this. My Bahamian Africans know this. My St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. Lucia, St. Martin, St. Vincent Africans know this. Oh yes, my Turks and Caicos Africans know this. My Grenadian Africans know this. My Guadeloupean Africans know this. And do you know what they know? They know that before the white man left the Caribbean, he put the brown man and the yellow man in position. Before the white man left the Caribbean, he put the brown man and the yellow man in position to make sure black people could never control those islands again. Talk black to me, Jamaica. Talk black to me, Haiti. Talk black to me, Grenada. Talk black to me, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. Lucia, St. Vincent. Talk black to me.
Attention! Were you or someone you love exposed to a CAPTCHA while just trying to fill out a simple form on the internet at any point between 2000 and 2023?
Exposure to CAPTCHAs on the internet has been linked to extreme frustration, resulting in sobbing, rethinking all of life's choices, screaming loudly in a room by yourself, and ultimately, aggressively closing your laptop. If you were exposed to one of these soul-crushing internet puzzles and experienced any of these symptoms, you may be entitled to superior...
Talk black to me. The white man put the brown man and the yellow man
something free? Well, we're talking free-to-play games today. New ones and upcoming ones. We've got 20, so let's get started off with number 20. Soulframe is the newest game from Digital Extremes, the people behind Warframe. Warframe, if you don't know, has been going for like a decade now. It's a free-to-play live service game that a lot of people have been really enjoying. There's a massive community around it, and it seems like they're one of the few that haven't screwed up the live service model and alienated players. Warframe is going strong, so some of that team spun off and they're working on a new game called Soulframe. Soulframe, in a lot of ways, looks like the opposite of Warframe. It's more grounded, more melee-based, and fantasy instead of sci-fi. It's still got very similar vibes to Warframe, but it's definitely trying to do its own thing in this interesting fantasy setting centered around nature, creatures, animals. It's sort of medieval, but it's kind of hard to pin down. Combat looks very almost God of War 2018-like, and I think they could be onto something interesting here. If they've learned a lot from Warframe, I'm just excited to see what they do with a new game from the ground up. As of right now, Soulframe doesn't have a release date, but we're definitely keeping an eye on it. Next, over at number 19, we have The Bourneless. This is billed as an action horror first-person shooter. You're playing with other players in this very moody, atmospheric horror world, apparently facing off against demons, monsters, other factions in this quote-unquote Lovecraftian world. You're using magic, you're using guns, you're upgrading a safe house, and just visually, the game seems really, really distinct. I think that alone is very ambitious, especially for this studio, a small studio that I think this is their first project. Games are essentially centered around you starting out in your safe house, going out, looting, getting more powerful stuff, kind of summoning a demon through a ritual, and then depending on what team you're on, you're dealing with a demon, and then you're hunting down other players while they're trying to escape or extract. It's a lot of interesting concepts, and we're excited to hear more from it soon. The trailers look pretty cool, but again, it's from a new, unproven studio. As of right now, no release date, but we're going to keep an eye on it.
On a planet with nowhere to put the juiciest burgers in the galaxy. Square.
The Extreme Burgers Smart Box from Hot Whiz.
Wow, I smush it down my throat.
Our new Ding Dong!
Greetings, Brave Explorer. We here at Alta Interglobal would like to welcome you to our newest venture, the colonization of space. You've spent almost a century hurtling through the universe in cryosleep, ready to begin your work on this strange alien planet. Unfortunately, changing market conditions have led us to the realization that space exploration is far too costly and unpredictable, and Alta has decided to cancel all future plans in space. I regret to inform you that you have therefore been made redundant. Your final check has been sent. We thank you for your service, and we hope you eventually find a way home. Good luck.
Is about to wrap up a big project for work, just as soon as she deals with all this.
She could use some focus. So, you want to be the best at whatever you do? Get Alpha Brain by On. Focus where it matters most.
Now, next at number 18, we have Dungeon Stalkers. This is essentially a free-to-play, third-person action dungeon crawler. It's going to have PvP elements, and you're just diving into these dark, gloomy, very classic-style dungeons, fighting other players and monsters. The character designs look cool. It looks like there's lots of different abilities, magical witches.
Presidential assassinations on Presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Presidential assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Central banks and global corporations run the nation. Military complex spread like a contagion. With the wars they waging, Gaza stripping flames, and we know just who to blame, cause it probably was the same mastermind who did that thing with the Nord Stream pipeline. Ultimate deception, playing it like some white lies. Propaganda keeps the masses watching all the news with politicians in suits and preachers in the pulpit. It's all bullshit, smoke and illusions, conspiracies, collusion. They propagate delusions to keep us in confusion. The grand chessboard, the creature from Jekyll Island, Epstein, Noriega, CIA, co-pilot, heavily redacted files and show trials for disgrace. Chose Trump, Assange, and put it on display. Brainwashing tactics got the hate misplaced. And this is the new mixtape from the deep state. Assassinations on replay. No time to delay in this global relay. Analyze the facts, not the he say, she say. And listen to the new mixtape from the deep state. Banky and JPL, Lockheed Martin. No big contracts given to the biggest monsters. Congress keeps investing because they stocks make the biggest profits.
Gallant Knights. Apparently it's got a pretty complex armor system that you really have to factor into how you square off against enemies. As of right now, this is slated for 2024, and we're excited to hear more. Next over at number 17, we have Arena Breakout Infinite. This is another highly tactical first-person extraction shooter. You're looting, you're shooting, you're getting out. Sometimes you're taking it slow, sometimes it gets very intense and very sweaty very quickly. And I think one of the big things this game has going for it is the visuals. If you can't tell on screen here, it looks really, really damn good. At the time of making this video, early access through their website has just dropped. And although it is very much still a work in progress, it seems like players are enjoying it so far. Next over at number 16, keeping with the military vibe, we have Delta Force Hawk Ops. Yes, Delta Force is back, and it seems like it's going pretty crazy. It's going to be free to play, it's got cross-play, it's got all these big features for it, a bunch of game modes, so you can get competitive if you want, and it's also doing something interesting with a Black Hawk Down campaign mode. If you're looking for bigger scale PvP multiplayer, this might be your thing, especially if you're looking for a change of pace. Maybe you're tired of the Call of Duties and the Battlefields of the world. This could be a nice free alternative. As of right now, it's releasing fourth quarter 2024. Next, over number 15, we have Off the Grid. This is a new battle royale game. It's apparently set in a dystopian cyberpunk future. It's 100 players fighting on a big, gorgeous tropical island, but apparently the game is also giving you a very lengthy narrative campaign that you're also going to progress through while you're jumping into these battle royale games. It's a very interesting idea to try and tell a story and a narrative over the course of battle royale. To quote a YouTube comment from the initial teaser trailer from this, it looks like if Cyberpunk 2077 and Fortnite had a baby. And yeah, I would agree with that. As of right now, no release date, but we're expecting to see more in 2024. Next, over at number 14, we have One Punch Man World. If you're into One Punch Man, you got this free thing to jump into. It's a official Crunchyroll published game, and it's got a lot of good reviews. You could play as some of your favorite characters, you could fight some of your favorite villains, and you can play with your friends. Personally, not really my type of thing because it does have a mobile game feel, but it is also releasing on PC, so that's why we figured we'd mention it here. Next, over at number 13, we have Project Mugen. When this game was first revealed, we were pretty blown away by the ambition. Graphically, art style, it looks absolutely gorgeous, and it very blatantly seems like it's going for a kind of Grand Theft Auto mixed with the web swinging of Spider-Man, mixed with the free-to-play elements and vibes of something like a Genshin Impact. This is a NetEase published game. They, of course, are famous for publishing other free-to-play style games from various territories. It feels like they got infinite money at this point to pull off something this cool looking. If the game actually comes out looking as cool as this trailer, we are definitely interested. It looks like there's some combat with some depth, some interesting ranged weapons, some destruction, and a big open world city. Project Mugen potentially could be cooking. As of right now, it's slated for PC and PlayStation, but no release date yet. Next, over at number 12, we have Doom Raytrace. This is a completely free download thing that one clever developer or modder made. It is just Doom 2 with ray tracing, and man, does it look gorgeous. I mean, just look at this trailer here. It totally changes the look and feel of the game. I love old school Doom, but I still can't get over looking at it with these types of visuals applied. I think the cool thing is that the people who worked on this and implemented ray tracing and everything are just put it out for people to play. Of course, download it and check it out at your own risk, but at the very least, just look up some videos, some gameplay of it, because it is absolutely wild.
You're only a touch away from the mastery of a barista, automatically. Introducing the Oracle Jet, the benchmark redefined. Enjoy third wave specialty coffee at home, easier than ever. Powered by Thermojet, our fastest and most efficient heating system. It's ready to go in seconds. Embrace automation at every stage with the 5-inch responsive touchscreen. Simply select from the menu of cafe favorites with new, refreshing cold brew and cold espresso. Take the hassle out of grinding, dosing, and tamping with a clever system that does all the work for you. Using Baratza European Precision Burrs with 45 grind settings, it tamps 22 grams into the professional style portafilter, creating a flawless finish. Achieve an optimized extraction with the precise Thermojet heated group head. It delivers 93 degrees above the puck, with professional level accuracy and temperature stability in every brew. For more convenience.
Next, over at number 11, we have Ashfall. Now, at first glance, you might be looking at this gameplay and thinking, what the heck is this? But believe it or not, it's a camping and survival game based on Morrowind. Yes, this is technically a Morrowind mod. This has been a thing, a community thing for quite some time. You can access a lot of it on Nexus mods, and it's just cool. Honestly, we've recommended a lot of your standard free-to-play looter shooter extraction things on this list, but something like Ashfall is a totally different flavor for a totally different type of player. Building something on the bones of Morrowind, making something creative out of it, in my opinion, is always cool. So yeah, we had to give this a mention. Next, over at number 10, if you're looking for some free survival, check out Ocean World Eden Crafters. This released pretty recently, earlier this summer, and essentially this is a free to access and play prologue to a bigger game called Eden Crafters. In this experience, you're dropped onto an ocean world and you're tasked with surviving, but also terraforming and essentially doing the work, putting the work in to make the planet more habitable for humans. The terraforming tools look really, really interesting, how you can really shape this planet into your own image. Also, it is a water-based planet, meaning gravity is causing massive, massive waves constantly, and you need to figure out how to work around that stuff. I think for fans of survival games, but also space games and people who like Interstellar might dig this one. Next, over at number 9, we have The First Descendant. Released earlier this summer, this is very much a free-to-play, live service, looter shooter with all the trappings you'd come to expect. A battle pass, skins, all that. But it does seem like people are enjoying it. Maybe it's the grappling hook or the very distinct characters you can play as that all have very, very different abilities and use cases, or the larger scale kind of raid boss battles. The First Descendant does have a lot of interesting ideas going on. It seems like it's doing pretty well. There was a big marketing push behind it, and it seems like it's worked. People are jumping onto it, probably because it was free, but I'm excited to see what the developers cook up next for this. Next, over at number 8, we have Ubisoft's spin on the free-to-play shooter with XDefiant. Yes, XDefiant is still going strong, and this is a free-to-play arena shooter that is very intense, very quick, very hectic, very sweaty, really. So if you're looking for an alternative to some of those tight, challenging, quick, competitive first-person shooters with a little bit of a Ubisoft flavor to it, XDefiant might be your thing. Next, over at number 7, we have Warhammer 40k Speed Freaks. Now, Warhammer 40k has really been expanding with lots of new media and lots of new games, and some of them get really creative. And Speed Freaks is definitely one of those. Yes, they're going with the free-to-play model. They're trying to attract people. They're trying to get you to spend money, but this is a Warhammer 40k themed kart racer. That, I think, is a really brilliant idea. It's quirky, it's fun, but it still feels like it fits within the universe. I say that at least as somebody from the outside looking in. It's been out since August, people have been enjoying it, but technically it's still only in early access, so we're excited to see where else it can really go. Next, over at number 6, we have Sky, Children of Light. This is a massive but abstract and simple kind of MMO from the people who made Journey. So if you saw Journey on PlayStation 3 and was into that, this is essentially the free-to-play, big, expansive MMO version of that. A beautiful art style, very simple, fun, peaceful characters to play as, and just a lot of cool stuff going on. It's a lot of exploration and puzzles and vibes. For free games, you don't usually see ones that are quite like this, but that game company, the developer-publisher, does always tend to do things a little bit differently. So if you're looking for something completely different from everything else on this list, consider Sky, Children of the Light. Next, over at number 5, if you're just looking for a dark and gritty PvPvE dungeon crawling thing, Dark and Darker definitely might be your thing. This is hardcore medieval fantasy dungeon diving. It's all first person with a lot of fun melee and magic combat. There are traps, monsters around every corner, and you can play it with your friends. So you're looting, you're questing, you're dungeon crawling, but with some buddies. What's better than that? This game is also seemingly becoming quite a big thing. It's coming to mobile as well, but it is on PC where since the summer, people have been really enjoying it. It's got mostly positive on Steam. There's a lot of depth to this one, so I will say if you're curious, check out some YouTube videos first, other than this one, of course. But yeah, Dark and Darker is already offering quite a bit for a free-to-play early access game. Next, over at number 4, we have Once Human. This is another recent free-to-play shooter that is a big, massive open world, kind of post-apocalyptic, but with very, very strange monsters. And you're thrust into playing through a kind of survival game mixed with third-person combat like The Division. And it has moments where it's really, really cool. There are some really, really creative aspects to this game, mixed in with some of the more mundane survival stuff you see in a lot of other games. When I first checked this one out, I wasn't the biggest fan. I like the ideas more than the execution, but I'll be totally honest, it seems like I was wrong. People seem to really be enjoying Once Human way more than me. Sometimes I don't get it right. So, Once Human released in July, and it does seem like it's still going strong, so if you were curious, now's probably a good time to jump in. Now, down at number 3, we're getting to the real fun stuff with Nightmare Cart. Nightmare Cart is that game you may have heard about in the past. It was a Bloodborne cart game, but for legal reasons, it needs to be more distinct. But it is very much inspired by Bloodborne, and it's a kart racer. That's absolutely brilliant. This is a game made by a fan for fans. It's just the most genuine, wholesome version of a game you can possibly get. And the fact that it's free for everyone is even cooler. It's absolutely gorgeous from a kind of classic art style and how it embraces the horror tropes and the Bloodborne stuff. It really is something else.
This is Mr. Marquez. He is here to teach you all about non-binary. A non-binary person is somebody who does not identify as male or female.
Like a hermaphrodite.
No. Yes. Not at all. And that word is not in use anymore, is it?
I don't know.
There you go.
An F? With grades like this, I'm gonna have to hit the corner, sir.
No vaping, I can smell it.
You're being investigated.
Why doesn't Marky ever get investigated for all that stuff he says?
Well, there he is. Eric Not So Speedy Gonzalez, 1751. Wow.
The kids this year, they're not into being woke.
It circles back
It's
around.
circled all the way around.
They're saying the R word again.
Are we getting behind on the state curriculum here?
A lot of questions for a doctor.
Do you even have a master's? What'd you major in? Ranch?
This job is important to me. I like watching young kids bloom and grow.
Don't say that. It sounds creepy.
Back up. Go sit next to Tiffany.
She told me it was offensive to learn Mandarin. Because you're not Japanese.
I was diagnosed with asymptomatic Tourette's.
What?
It's like Tourette's syndrome, but without any symptoms.
You can't call me Fruit Loop, Marky. This is the name of a cereal, buddy. Then why don't you say Cheerios? Because there ain't nothing gay about Cheerios.
First we run.
Are you flat there?
When?
Okay, but it's not Broadway.
And now, down at number 2, we have Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals has had a lot of playable events recently, but its full launch is coming soon, and it's pretty cool. It seems like a good kind of third-person alternative to something like Overwatch. It's fairly simple, yes, and some of the interpretations of the Marvel characters are a little corny, but there's some cool stuff here, and it's good, simple, clean fun. The characters' abilities are interesting, the environmental destruction is good, the maps are fairly decent. So if you know Overwatch, if you understand Overwatch, but you're looking for a Marvel version of that, this is kind of that. I know I'm being reductive. People say it's not the same, but they're absolutely going for that market. Overwatch 2 has kind of left a void, and I think Marvel Rivals is doing a good job. It's pretty cool. Still, it seems like they're only just getting started. They just announced like Captain America for it, so we're curious to see where else it goes. But for now, we're thinking Marvel Rivals might become a bigger thing. Finally, now at number 1, we have Fallout London. Fallout London is a fan mod for Fallout 4. It is a whole new Fallout experience. It's a Fallout game set in London by these incredible fans and modders. They did such a good job adapting the Fallout style, the lore, the vibe, everything to post-apocalyptic London. It's absolutely brilliant. It's got story you can play through, it's got quests, it's got its own unique loot, locations. They really did a bang-up job on this. It took tons and tons of years and lots of hard work for this to be made, but it is absolutely worth the wait. Fallout London is truly something special, and I hope to see it end up in the video game history books. If you were waiting for the next Fallout game, this is it. It's right here. Bethesda didn't make it, but it is right in front of us, and it's a good time. So those are 20 free games that are both new and upcoming. Let us know in the comments what you're currently playing that's free. Is it one of these games? Is it interesting you? Is there a game on this list that is upcoming that maybe you've wishlisted, you're looking forward to playing? Let us know anything at all. If you like this video and maybe learned about a game, clicking the like button helps us. That's all you gotta do. But we put out videos every day. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Crocker Client Support. It's like soccer. Out there, you can't see and know everything. But I'm connected to experts who I can chat with whenever I need to. But once it's decision time, that's all on me.
For the first time, Kickoff Weekend has a Friday game. Unbelievable! And it's only on Peacock.
There are a lot of games made that play it completely safe, and they're not the most exciting out there. I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not typically blowing anybody out of the water. To make something truly new, innovative, and mind-blowing, you gotta do something dangerous. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, 10 games that took the biggest risks. Starting off at number 10, it's Dragon's Dogma 2. Now, just making a sequel to Dragon's Dogma looks pretty risky in today's highly risk-averse AAA games market. The original had a mixed reception, but it was a name that people recognized. It was a known property. It grew a cult following over the years, so Capcom could have just taken the name and made something more traditional out of it, but they didn't. Instead of making something more like Skyrim or Monster Hunter or anything that's tried and tested, with Dragon's Dogma 2, they instead decided to double down on the things that made the original unique. The single save slot, the unusual controls, the opaque quest design. It's all back in Dragon's Dogma 2, and somehow they've made the game even more inexplicable. It's unabashedly old school in so many ways. I don't just mean the difficulty. There's no starting dodge roll, no lock-on mechanics. The entire pawn system is strange. The quest design rarely explains what you're actually exactly supposed to be doing and how to do it. It's an all-around odd and challenging game. Depending on the type of player, this is all refreshingly classic or infuriatingly outdated. Throw in a whole mess of performance issues and you've got a highly divisive game. A game people either love or hate isn't always risky, but in this case it really is. Capcom's internal studios know their stuff at this point. They can make a crowd-pleasing game in their sleep. Well, I'm exaggerating, they probably can't do that, but they know what they're doing, is what I'm saying. They could have gone the safe route with Dragon's Dogma 2, but they chose not to instead. They made a highly systematic game with a lot of ambitious ideas and intentionally aggravating game design decisions. Yeah, at this point, Capcom pretty much knows anything it makes is going to have an audience, so it's not like Dragon's Dogma 2 could have been a total failure, but they absolutely took a lot of big swings with the game design here, and while they didn't always hit, it's still nice to see a major game from a big publisher that's weird. Just nice when a big developer bucks the trends.
Rotten luck. We need to go in against
And number 9 is Alien Isolation. This is another one of those games that on the surface doesn't sound risky at all. The Alien franchise is huge. It's published by Sega, and at the time it came out, it was following the prevailing horror trends. Games like Amnesia Dark Descent and Outlast were the real trailblazers for this horror subgenre. You know, the stalker horror formula where you play as an essentially helpless victim who's forced to run and hide from things that are hunting you. This game could have been exactly like those games, a linear thrill ride with very little in terms of gameplay systems to back everything up. Instead, the team at Creative Assembly, the guys behind the Total War games, decided to make one of the most elaborate enemy AIs of all time with the Alien, and made the game so much bigger than pretty much any of the other horror games of this type. There are humans that you have to sneak around, there are deadly androids you have to deal with, and there's there's the alien that's intelligent and unpredictable and relentless and kills you with zero hesitation. But that's not all there is to this game. There's also the massive interconnected station the game is set on. There's the crafting system that gives you a few tools to help fend off enemies, and the most divisive of all is the hard save system. There are no checkpoints. If you die, you get sent back to the last save point. This save system is just risky as hell. They could have just dropped checkpoints everywhere to make the game less frustrating. They stuck to their guns and made it so when the alien catches you, it hurts. The alien's ability to catch you anywhere and kill you instantly was also risky. They could have made the alien much more predictable if they wanted to, but they did not want to. They wanted the alien to feel like the ultimate predator, and it does. And that's at the expense of player agency. When you first encounter the alien, it just seems like there is nothing you can do. It feels hopeless, and it can be incredibly frustrating. A lot of people give up on the game at this point, and that's just how the Isolation developers wanted it. It sounds ridiculous, but they may have literally made a game that is a little too scary. It was just too much for general audiences, and it was considered something of a flop when it originally came out, and it got a lot of middling reviews. It's kind of shocking when you look back on the actual reception of this game, when you consider how beloved it is, but many fans did love it for what it is. Its mystique has kept it alive in the collective gamer conscience. You hear people mention it all the time. For most people I talk to, that's a good thing. Now, it is an extremely frustrating game at times, but you gotta respect the vision this team had. They wanted to make the ultimate Aliens horror game, and they succeeded. Depending on who you talk to, almost too well.
Poor indoor air quality can be a real problem. Gases, odors, sprays, chemicals, pollen, pet dander, dust mites, all of these can affect your air quality. And if you suffer from allergies like during pollen season, an air purifier can help. Let's check out 3 Dyson air purifiers which can automatically sense and remove 99.97% of allergens and pollutants as small as 0.3 microns in diameter from your air. And here they are. The Purifier Cool Gen 1 TP10, which purifies and cools you, the Hot and Cool Gen 1 HP10, which adds heating, and the Big and Quiet Formaldehyde BP03, Dyson's biggest purifier yet for large spaces. These all use a fully sealed HEPA filtration system. That means once those pollutants are in, they're not getting back out. And you can run these on auto mode to set it and forget it. The purifier will automatically adjust its settings based on the air quality in your room, ramping up when it detects more pollutants and dialing down when things are clear. And a bonus for light sleepers, these all have a night mode that dims the display and uses the quietest settings. This is the Big and Quiet BP03 model. It's engineered for large spaces and uses cone air.
At number 8 is Demon's Souls. 2009 was a real strange time for gaming. At the time, the general consensus was that any form of friction in games was bad. Checkpoints had to be plentiful, roadblocks like difficult boss fights were seen as a negative, in-game tutorials needed to explain everything, the list goes on. I'm not saying gamers wanted all of these things. Just in case that's what you think I'm saying, I am saying the game development consensus. I'm also not saying everything about this trek was necessarily terrible. There are actually a lot of very good games that came out of this time, but games are allowed to be difficult, or should be at least. And some games are difficult for their own sake. Doesn't mean a game is bad just because you have to go back to the start of a level when you die. Not everyone loves that, but not everyone hates it. But when Demon's Souls, Dark Souls' predecessor, came out on the PlayStation 3 in 2009, it was a true anomaly. The game was obscure, it was light on story and cinematics, and it was hard. Compared to pretty much every other game in the series, it's actually pretty easy, but everything about this game was new at the time, so even simple mechanics that we take for granted now were seen as being extremely punishing. It's an action game where the combat is slow, methodical, and deadly. If you die, you don't just lose all the souls, which are used as both experience and currency. You also get your life bar cut in half. There are no checkpoints other than bonfires, which are spaced pretty damn far apart. It's all the stuff we've come to expect from these types of games, except the health bar thing. They pretty much all stopped doing that. But everything else is a genre staple at this point. Everything about Demon's Souls feels like the opposite of the prevailing game design options at the time. Its many systems go mostly unexplained. It's full of roadblocks and intentionally unfair challenges that the player is forced to persevere through. It's a game that was designed to be hard in a very old school way at a time when that just was not how games were made. While the game's many design decisions were risky, the actual development wasn't. The game lacked direction and seemed destined for failure when Hidetaka Miyazaki took over the project, and because he knew the game was pretty much written off already, he saw an opportunity to make the kind of game he wanted to play. So to him, the stakes weren't really that high because the project was already in the gutter, so if the final product ended up being bad, well, not his fault. The project was doomed from the start anyway. The game did get a mixed critical reception, but it gathered a cult following fairly quick. And the devs managed to parlay that into a spiritual successor, Dark Souls, and that game was a pretty big success, which just snowballed from there. Now, there's literally a subgenre of action games it all but created, and Elden Ring, which is by all accounts the latest Souls game from, was perhaps the biggest game of 2023. The subgenre is probably the biggest in the industry outside of a few main staples, and making one of these games now is kind of a no-brainer. It's a safe bet, but back in 2009, it was anything but.
Got a second? I'm going to show you how I got the flexibility to code, create, and experiment my way. Follow me. Let's dive in and start exploring. I signed up for an Azure free account and...
Moving on to number 7, it's XCOM Enemy Unknown. The thing about game design is that if you're doing anything even remotely new, something you're not 100% confident in right from the start, there is a lot of risk. Making games is an inherently risky business because fun is really subjective. It's ephemeral. It can be very different from person to person. And if you generate a reputation with enough of the wrong people first, it's gonna be hard to get out of it. So, a squad-based tactical shooter, huh? Firaxis knew how to make a Civilization game fun. They'd been making those for many years, so they understood what was addicting and entertaining about that gameplay, but that was that gameplay. The idea for a reboot of the classic XCOM series was something they were thinking about doing for a long time, but they couldn't quite figure out how to do it. The game went through multiple total overhauls before they finally settled on the game it ended up being, which is definitely for the best because everything I've heard about the older builds make it sound like they really dodged a bullet. It wasn't the only risky thing about the game, though. You gotta remember, back in 2012, a big budget strategy game that didn't have the name Sid Meier on it was kind of unheard of. Of course, there were strategy games out there, but this was before the big PC games boom that happened over the next few years. Now, strategy games are all over the place, but back when this came out, it was basically an extremely niche idea. It didn't make sense to put the kind of money they put into this game. The market was just too small for the genre, but the game was so well made and addictive, it just didn't matter. Weirdly enough, it was so well made that without really sacrificing anything, it ended up bringing a casual audience that normally wouldn't play a game like this. Ironically, the safe version of this game, the third-person shooter called The Bureau, flopped. While the game everyone thought wasn't going to get an audience, thrived. It's a testament to how good XCOM Enemy Unknown is, and how sticking to modernizing an old-school formula was a great idea despite the fact it seemed like there was just no demand for it. They proved a lot of people wrong with XCOM Enemy Unknown. Number number 6 is Yakuza Like a Dragon. Oh my lord. It's probably one of the wildest genre changes in a long-running series ever, right? Most of the time when a long-running series makes significant changes in gameplay, it's either because there was a big gap between games, like God of War, or they're trend chasing, like with the more action-oriented, later Splinter Cell games. This game took the series, Yakuza, well known for being a beat-em-up, extremely beloved, no reason to change, would have kept selling like hotcakes, into oblivion and turned it into a JRPG. It's a massive change that completely upends the primary gameplay of the series, and it could have been a disaster because, I mean, it's such a bizarre idea. It's not a fantasy world with the standard RPG trappings. It's a contemporary story set in real-world Japan, yet for some reason they decided to remove the fighting in a game that was famous for the fighting and replace it with a ridiculous turn-based combat system with all the RPG trappings. You got party members, classes to switch to with different abilities. It's about as different as a game can be while still feeling essentially the same. All the stuff surrounding the combat is exactly the same. You are still running around a city district full of activities and side quests. It's just that they're really leaning into the RPG aspects of the franchise this time. There is a reason for all this. The developers clearly wanted to make a hard split with the series now that longtime protagonist Kazuma Kiryu is out of the picture, and anytime a series changes its hero, it's risky, but the game pulls it off well. Some folks aren't huge fans of the new combat style, and I get it. It's just a personal preference thing, but you gotta respect the audacity of the developers that were crazy enough to take this batshit insane idea and run with it. These guys were well aware that it was a risk that might bite them in the ass, and they were absolutely ready to completely abandon the JRPG combat if everyone just rejected it. But for the most part, fans really enjoyed it. It sold well. It's here to stay, at least up through Infinite Wealth. And I mean, let's not lie, even though it's not set in a fantasy world, Yakuza is kind of a bizarre, and I mean very bizarre series, even if it doesn't lean into mystical stuff.
A loaf of bread cost 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Well, folks, it's set to be another scorchingly dull day in the tri-state area as the boredom wave takes full effect. I just hope for the folks at home that there's a Dave & Buster's in your neighborhood to find some relief. Oh, there's one.
Fun's in the forecast at Dave & Buster's. Get 5 free games for a limited time.
Is this even a real news station? I mean, does anyone actually watch this?
Moving on to number 5, it's Metroid Prime. Taking the classic gameplay of Super Metroid and turning it into an FPS sounded like a recipe for disaster, but much like making Yakuza a JRPG, making Metroid Prime a FPS ended up being an all-time classic. I don't blame anyone for being skeptical of this game back when it first announced, but hey, proof is in the pudding. Now, people were skeptical because it was made by an untested Western studio, keeping in mind Metroid has traditionally been a Japanese game. It'd never not been one. And they did something that sounded completely impossible. Metroid Prime seemed like it was going to be an Other M-style disaster, but it ended up being actually good. Not good, actually. Great. Very, very great. Excellent. Back then, even more than now, the FPS games felt like a place where innovation went to die. So to manage to thread the needle of being an FPS while retaining the exploration elements of the classic games, including the morph ball in a way that actually feels right. Keeps all the enemy designs that feel appropriately Metroid-y. It's just a miracle this worked out the way it did. The most impressive thing this game managed to do was make it feel like a Metroid game. It doesn't feel like a Metroid-themed FPS, which is what everybody feared. It's just a Metroid game. It's got the puzzle solving, it's got the exploration, all kept intact, and if anything, the game is more true to the series than a lot of the actual Metroid games that came after it. It was a risky as hell idea, but the team at Retro Studios really pulled it off, and also honestly really pulled off some crazy graphics crap for the time, and for the limited hardware. And number 4 is Divinity Original Sin. You might think that Baldur's Gate 3 was risky, but by the time Larian was making that game, they had pretty much proven they had the chops to make incredible computer RPGs, a hell of a track record, and they were working with one of the most popular properties of all time, you know, Dungeons and Dragons. The game was going to be a success no matter what, it's just that nobody anticipated just how much of a success it ended up being. This game, though, everything was uncertain. It was make or break for Larian. Their previous game, Dragon Commander, was not a big success. They were on their last legs by the time the original Sin Kickstarter started, and if this game didn't make a dent, that was pretty much it for them. If this was going to be their final game, they wanted to make the kind of game they wanted to play. At the time of the Kickstarter, Western-style RPGs were